Motherfucker. I'm live. Shit! Ooh. I timed that very badly. I should have kept this in the fridge rather than in my room. But hey, how's it going, guys? It's your boy! It's your boy! And I'm back from Bolton. Actually, I was back last night, but oh well. I thought it was a good title. So, I was at the UKIP meeting in Bolton, not Manchester. If any of you saw Sargon's link to the Facebook page, it was not in Manchester, it was in Bolton. And I can hear the cries of people in the satellite towns, but it's Greater Manchester, that's the county. That does not mean you are from the city of Manchester. But I digress. It was a fun night. There was autism and boomer moments. Surprisingly, Sargon did not have a boomer moment. And I'll get into the autism in a little while. I just need to wait for peeps to show up. Hey, don't leave me hanging, guys. Oh, it was a fun night, guys. Oh my god. So fun. So I'm going to just stream for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You know the drill when I have these kinds of streams. And just chill out with you guys because I'm bored and I didn't get any work done today. Oops. But anyway, how is life, guys? I hope you're all doing splendidly. There's more news. Oh, what has your life become? Well, that's your problem, not mine. But yeah, there's been more news on the Mercedes Carrera, but I don't know if I should make a video on it because it's only a statement, and I can't exactly edit the other video to say, you know, this news has just come up, because YouTube can edit their own videos, believe it or not. They have a hidden feature, because I remember when they released the YouTube Heroes thing, I noticed that the original video is no longer there. They literally edited the video. I don't know how they did it, because I've got an edit function, but it's nothing like what they did. They literally changed the video. The context was changed because they made it look less bad than it actually was. But I digress. It's just I guess I could read it here after I talk about Bolton, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth a video unless more things come out. Then I've got something I can flesh out. You know, I can't just make a 2 to 3 minute video on a statement. What am I gonna say? Well, this is what she thinks, and then I have to string out the video for a couple more minutes. It's not worth it. Let's wait and see when the trial starts, and then we can start to get some videos out. Other than that, yeah, I'm gonna wait after the initial video. So that's it. So anyway, Bolton. So I get there after realizing while looking at Google Maps on the bus, because I didn't know where I was going, that if I'd gotten off 2 stops before, if I'd gotten off just before Bolton train station, I could have got to the place a lot earlier, because technically it wasn't even in Bolton. It was in another thing, like another district of Bolton, I guess you could say. Little Lever it was called. And like I walk in, and immediately it's Boomer Central. I mean, you know, I'm sorry to say for UKIP, but like, yeah, their support are mostly boomers. It's gonna change slowly, but I did notice more young people did arrive as the night wore on. It was actually late starting. It was meant to start at 7, but we didn't really get going till about 7:30 maybe. And then they brought up a guy who was the first 2 people who started were young'uns. One was a university student who is suing his university because of their reprehensible actions against free speech. He basically got like the full amount of disciplinary action he could possibly get just for saying his opinion, which resonated with me. That's all I'm going to say. There was another one who was... Oh, what was he? He used to be a Labour Party member. I was never a member, thankfully. I didn't waste my money on that. He talked about how when he got there, he basically they red-pilled him just by being themselves, and how he joined UKIP I think it was last year, maybe a couple of months ago, and he's been around ever since. I think he's like part of the UKIP Young Independence Party or movement. It's the youth wing, like the Young Conservatives and whatever Labour's is. And then we got into the boomers, the people who were speaking after them, who were all older. There was a guy who actually left UKIP who was invited to speak, and he discussed his reasons, and all it boiled down to is we're perceived to be racist, we're perceived to be this. I'm not willing to change that perception because I'm not getting my own way, so I'm leaving, basically. And I thought, well, there's literally really no difference in ideology. It's methods. And even then, like, what he proposed is really something that UKIP should not be going for. They should be pulling no punches, and he suggested that they pull punches. And it's not like UKIP isn't already trying to look as palatable as possible with the banning of BNP members, unless it's an individual circumstance from even joining the party, things like that. But like, we'll get into that, don't worry. That's to do with some autism. Then there was a guy who did a really good speech on candidates, and I talked to him about that afterwards. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to become a candidate for a party. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm interested in doing something like that. I might even join the party, but I don't know. I don't think I can in my present living condition, but I will eventually, possibly. I don't know. I need to see the actual manifesto first. I need to see where the party's heading first as well. I want to see if they actually are picking up proper steam, which I hope they do, to be fair. But other than that, like, there was that guy who wanted more candidates because UKIP needs to get, I think, 750 to get a party political broadcast. And then there's a few others who talked about stuff. There was one guy he was on the spectrum, an older guy, you could tell, and he was like it kind of reminded me of Styx Hexenhammer, but he's a little bit more in depth, talking about the system. And it was pretty interesting. Jared Batten, obviously, he had a speech. I had to say, he doesn't half waffle. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, he's the leader, so he gets the longest speech. But he does waffle. He needs to get more to the point. I would say he needs to get down to the point and be a bit more streamlined in his speech. But other than that, he's fine. Like, sometimes he'll get your attention with a great point or a good joke, but a lot of the time I found myself kind of zoning out of his speech, which isn't really his fault. He's probably still new to all this, but just cut out the fluff and you've got a good speech, basically. Carl was good. Sargon, the Don. That was when I would argue the second amount of autism side, because there's a little bit of autism directed at the guy who used to be a part of the UK. People were cutting in the audience when they really shouldn't be, because it's a speech. You should be polite and listen. I don't know. There was a Q&A anyway, and then Carl was just talking about how we should treat, it was he talked about Islam and how we should criticise the ideology, not necessarily individuals, and some of the boomers in the audience were not happy at that. The collectivists in the audience. It makes you wonder, what are they doing in a party that's fundamentally individualist? A party that would rather criticise the ideology than the person. I mean, even like anti-Islam, former Muslim YouTubers like Dajwal the Revolution, Mufassal Islam, who says worse things about Islam than Jared Batten has ever done. They've said the same thing. It's a death cult. Oh, I've got a super chat. Thank you. I'll read it in a bit. But like, he said worse things, and even he says you hate the ideology, not the person. Unless that person is obviously a jihadi or something, you can hate them, I guess. But like, there's that, and some people took umbrage with that. But it's like, you're gonna get nowhere just, you know, generalizing and tarring them all with one brush, because that's what they do to UKIP, and it's what the media does as well. So we need to just have a discussion about the ideology. But they didn't like that. That was where a lot of the autism came from in the crowd. And then we got to the Q&A, and then one old this boomer man, oh my god, he walks up and he says, I used to be a part of the BNP, can I join the party? He's like, well, no, you can't. It's unfortunate, but you can't, because the party is getting tired with the alt-right brush and the Nazi brush and the far-right brush, and they want to protect themselves from that, and also they want to protect themselves from infiltration. And then he started this whole thing where there was a back and forth, and this other guy jumped in and he's like, you're not for freedom, you're not for liberty. To be fair, I don't think these guys were reformed former BNP members. I don't think. I think they were trying to find the party that they could turn into the next BNP, and they think the UKIP's going to be that. Because, as one guy said to me during this whole fracas, it wasn't that bad really. It just wasted everybody's time, and the Q&A finished early as a result. But this guy told me in the crowd, look, they're answering his question, or trying to, but they're not giving these guys the answers that they want. And that was a really good point that guy made. Also, apart from myself, quite a few POCs were there, you know, a few mixed race guys. Obviously, some people were there who we know are not white, like Janaea. She turned up late, but it's not her own fault. It's not her fault. She was at uni. Janaea was there to say hello. Quite a few people. Ah, shit, my beard's going all over. And then I think there was some other autism as well, but I kind of forgot what it was. And then there was a boomer moment during Jared Batten's speech. I think it was his speech. There was a Scouse guy and basically what happened was he doesn't know how to use his smartphone, and he put on the aid. You know, it's the voice that helps people who I guess are have poor eyesight or are blind to use the phone. And he couldn't turn it off. He couldn't even turn his own phone off, and people were getting fed up with him. I just started laughing because I just thought of Sarkon when it was happening. Oh, thanks, Merc. Here's some money for a razor. Oh, come on. But Mitch, that's not really. I know it's not really a beer, but it's the cheapest that I could get. But oh shit, it's all gone over me now. Thanks a lot, Merc. No, I'm joking. I mean, $2 for a razor, Jesus. I'm not that cheap, but thank you. I'm joking. So that's it, really. Other than that, it was a good night. I had to drink after that autism. Oh God, ugh, old people. No offense to you, old people who are watching, but you can definitely see that it does need new blood, and you can definitely see why that no former BNP members rule applies, because they were definitely there to infiltrate. You know, why would you defend that party, you know, even after you've left it, or because it's probably no longer around anymore? I don't think the BNP is around anymore. I'm just going to have a look, actually. BNP. I don't think they're around. Oh, it is still around. But, yeah, like, they were denying that they were neo-Nazis, like, well, they were. Like, it all stretches back to the 60s and the 50s, you know? Because Jared Batten went through it like, well, this is the history of the party. It's like, no. It's like, well, you know it is. That's why you're denying it. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Shit, I forgot what I was going to talk about earlier. What was it? Shit, guys, remind me. What was it? Dollar Shave Club. It's actually £5, Merc. It's £5 to get some razors from there. Oh shit, guys, tell me what it was. Oh no. I've totally forgot what it was. Oh well. What's been going on in the world that you want me to talk about, guys? Because I've forgotten what I wanted to talk about. Something happened, and I wanted to talk about it. And what was it? What was it? No, it's gone. Oi, bruv, you've a drinking license. I don't have a license to sell, but I am at the age to drink. Something did happen recently, but I totally forgot what it was. Let's see, Mercedes Carrera. I already talked about that. Mercedes Carrera. Patreons. Well, what's to say about Patreon, really? What's been going on? What was it that I wanted to talk about? And I don't want to watch myself because you guys will hear it through OBS. So, fuck. Well, I've got nobody to go out with on a Friday night, James. And beer does not flow like tap water. Trust me. I've been to many bars where they always run out of certain drinks pretty quickly. I remember when I used to work in the pub during the early days of this particular channel, we used to run out quite a bit. But Saturday, really, I would say is bigger than Friday. But the thing is, like, all the people who are really good drinkers, you know, the barmate, all the bar staff and shit, we always go out on the weekdays because we're working on the weekends, unless we're lucky to be off. But I don't work in that industry anymore. Why am I saying we? Oh no, another person's been Me Too to reset the clock. There was definitely something that I wanted to talk about. Oh! Candy sewing. That's it. I know Slaughter Otter will want me to talk about her. So, okay, I'm not well informed. But she basically did an oopsie, right? So what she did was she said, oh, what was it that she said? Hitler. Something about Hitler. Here we are. Actually, I'll just go on Discord because Slaughter Otter sent it me. Here we are. So, okay, this is out of context. This, excuse me, this screenshot that somebody sent, but Slaughter Otter's just quoting somebody anyway. All right, so let me show this. Guys. Let me bring this up. All right, let's get Discord up. Discord. There we are. Oh, brilliant. It won't show Discord. Seriously? Really, nigga? Hang on. Brilliant. Hang on a sec. I'm going to have to go on I'll have to go on monitor capture for that then. Oh, so display capture. That should do it. Alright, here we are. Now you should see it now. Yep, you do now. Let me just sort that out. There we go. So let's open the original. Yeah, I know, all the tabs. Owens suggested that Trump, if he was involved in British politics, would have demolished Corbyn as a political opponent by giving the Labour leader a nickname similar to those who gave Hillary Clinton Crooked Hillary, Ted Cruz Lying Ted, like Jew Hater Jeremy. Oof. Nah, come on. I think he'd have come up with something a bit more witty than that, but yeah. He is a Jew hater. A lot of communists hate Jews. But this is a thing that's always been around. Like Stalin, towards the end of his reign, he started another purge. He was beginning the process of another purge where he was going to purge the Jews from the Communist Party, basically, because I think he and Hitler got a bit buddy during the Nazi-Soviet pact, and he realised, anti-Semitism, that can help. Never mind the fact that quite a few of the Bolsheviks were Jewish, you know, and some people in his party, though, not as many as people say, but, you know, there were still Jews there. That's besides the point. Owens laughs, blah, 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 blah. Asked by a member of the audience about nationalism in Western politics. Oh, God. You know, Candace Owens is a retard anyway. Like, she's not even smart. And yet she's become this figurehead for black conservatives and black people. And it's like, is there not a smarter woman that we can have who's a conservative? See, some people would say Tree of Logic, but she's also a retard. She created her own echo chamber, essentially. Like, she blocked me for no reason. Because I'm to the left of her. It's like, come on, girl, really? And she complains about the left and all that shit, and she does the exact same thing, but hey, whatever. I guess there's just not a lot of black female, well, there isn't a lot of black female conservatives. Doesn't that particular demographic vote 99% Democrat in America? I mean, I think over in Britain, I think it's probably not as bad. I can't imagine a Christian Caribbean woman aged over 45 or 50 voting Labour, but I don't know. Asked by a member of the audience about nationalism, Owens brought up Adolf Hitler. Oh, why? Why not Salvini? Why not Gerard Batten or Nigel Farage? Or he's starting a new party, by the way, or endorses a new one, the Brexit Party. But I don't know much about that, so I'm not going to comment. I know even less about this. Actually, I don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. Okay, fair enough. I think that the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. Whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. Yeah, I mean, in the Western world, yeah, we associate nationalism with Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. Well, the problem is that just being in Germany and not expanding with the whole Lebensraum thing, which, by the way, the whole point of being a National Socialist was to expand Germany's borders, by the way. Like, that was the whole point. They were trying to not only incorporate other Germans who don't live in Germany, which is why the unification with Austria happened, but also they were trying to take land from other people that they thought rightfully belonged to them or should belong to them because they need Lebensraum, living space, to increase for the increasing German population, because Hitler was trying to get more women to have babies. He was literally subsidising them to have kids. But I digress. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. No, that's not the problem. That still makes him a nationalist, by the way. He's just an expansionist one. He wasn't isolationist. He wanted to No, he didn't want to globalise. That's not how it worked. He wanted everybody to be German. Well, no, he didn't want everybody to be German. He wanted Germans to expand and kill the lesser races, basically. I mean, there were some people who he would have included, I guess, like the English and the Scandinavians, I guess. But everybody else would have been killed. But even then, like, there's no reason why he wouldn't have killed the Anglos, because we're not really German, and we're not really French, and we're not really any Celtic or anything like that, but whatever. Everybody took a different way. To me, that's not nationalism. Well, it is nationalism. It's no true nationalism. That's just the extreme end of nationalism. Oh my god. This is actually the worst thing you could have said. She's a retard, and I still think she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if she's saying that deliberately to, like, I don't know, to make black conservatives look bad. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that was the case. Hang on, there's something wrong with the... No, the fucking chat isn't even showing up properly. That's a lot of bullshit. Let me sort that out. It's here somewhere. Let me sort something out. Something weird going on with OBS. I didn't even mess with anything, and it's still deciding to mess up. Why have I got all this shite? I don't know. It's decided not to show up, so there's no point. So anyway, that's the Candace Owens thing, and it's just retarded. What can I say? Talk about the Armenian genocide. What is there to say other than it happened and the Turks are wrong? Literally, what is it? My OBS got AIDS. No, that's what OBS does, Striker. That's just what it does. It likes to do that kind of thing. It likes to do stupid things. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I could do a video on the Armenian genocide and piss off the Turks. I do like pissing off people like that. But like, what is there to say that hasn't already been said about it anyway? I mean, I don't know. It happened. Anyway, let me just sort out so you guys can see yourselves again. Because this shit is being autistic with me, as per usual. Window capture. And we'll just... don't worry if it goes black, guys. It's just sorting things out. Then we open up the pop-out chat. There we go. And then got properties on here. I'm kind of teaching you guys how it works now. And it still doesn't show up. Ah, here we are. Got it. Found it. Here we are. And that should work. It's top chat though, so there we go. Nah, don't worry, it's not F, Striker. Calm down. It's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If it went black, it was on purpose. Why would I want to talk about how fat he is? Again, there's nothing to say other than he's fat. We need to ignore Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Alright? And here's why, guys. Alright? This is why you should ignore her, because... one, everything you react towards that she says is going to make her bigger. In a way, she is the left-wing Trump, kind of. Or rather, the communist Trump. Don't worry, guys, it's going black now, as you'll see. The latency's a bit off with this. I don't know how many seconds it is, but I'll have to figure that out for next stream. Somebody here who knows how to stream will tell me. But anyway, this is a woman that feeds off of any kind of publicity, and people who are anti-communist or conservative or whatever, anybody who just isn't like her and doesn't like her, who reacts to her in such a way, is feeding into her popularity. Like, the last thing we need is someone like her in the Senate or whatever she does. I don't know what she does, guys, alright? But the last thing you need is her. And the more you react to her and kind of react the way the SJW would react to Trump, which some people have been doing, that makes her more popular, not only to SJWs and people who could be switched, but to the normies. And you don't want that. You don't want normies deciding that communism is the way to go, alright? That can only bring ruin, alright? Because the more popular she gets, the more likely she is to be a presidential candidate. So ignore her. That's the only thing we can do. If they did ignore Trump, I reckon he probably would have had less of an impact, to be fair. Oh, fuck. Oh, Can't Dank this pissed me off. The English did not colonise the Scottish. Like, I guess what he means by Celts. And by the way, the Scots literally colonised Scotland. Like, the Scots aren't even native to Scotland. Ironically enough. Because what I saw was he's like talking to some guy who says the reason why people speak English, and I guess in America it's some anarchist he's talking to, or whoever. It's because of European colonialism, and he said that happened to the Celts. It's like, no, the Celts willingly chose to speak English. In fact, in the Lowlands they were already speaking English well before the Union. But hey, whatever. Just telling you that, Dank. He's probably going to appear now in the chat like, I heard you talking shit. I just hate. I just Scottish nationalists, man. No matter how reasonable they are, they come up with occasional gibberish. Yeah, she won't clap for World War II veterans. I don't know what you mean by that. We don't clap over here. We just have a minute silence. That's what we do. We don't clap. I don't know what a Turderican is. I don't know. What's a Turderican? Are you saying Puerto Rican? The Celts won, strike team. The Celts won. Stuarts, man. The King James, King Charles, both of them. All the King James. They were Scottish. They weren't English. Well, they weren't really Scottish either. Danish, bit French. There's a rap that I might share that goes through King Charles II's ancestry, but he mentions it. They won. The Scottish won, not the English. The English were ruled by the Scottish for nearly 100 years, 80 years, I think. So from 1603 to 1688, and even then the Scots were also willingly prepared to get rid of the Stuarts as well, because believe it or not, the British Isles, at least England and Scotland, were moving towards each other anyway. And that was just one way towards 1707. But I don't know. That's just my historical opinion on the matter. But the Celts won. I guess you could argue the Irish lost, but did they really lose when they ended up getting, when half of them or 3/4 of them ended up getting independence anyway? And there's nothing stopping people from Ulster from going to live in Ayr or whatever, But yeah, I reckon the Celts actually won, and like they love to talk about S&P people like to talk about the Jacobite rebellions, but they forget that wasn't an England versus Scotland thing at all. It wasn't. This was literally two royal families, European royal families, fighting over who controls Great Britain, essentially, and the Germans won. The Scots lost, basically, or the pseudo-Scots. They're just French, really. People don't realise that in Scotland and England, the Normans basically ruled the two countries for hundreds of years. Like, you think William the Conqueror was the only Norman to invade the British Isles? Oh, you're mistaken, because the Scottish aristocracy also spoke French. But I guess I'm digressing quite a lot in this stream, but I like history, guys. You know me. I like to spurg out about that. What's the difference between dog shit and coons? Raccoons don't smell? I don't know. Well, I don't know if she's Puerto Rican, but it doesn't really matter. Like, she's just a socialist. Her race has nothing to do with it. Like, she's an idiot regardless, And she's from a rich family anyway, so you can't really say she's from a poor background. She likes to claim she's from the Bronx and shit, but it's like, she might be from the Bronx or Harlem or wherever, but they're not entirely shitholes. Even like the worst rundown areas have their nice leafy suburby richie parts, To quote Franklin from GTA 5, a block makes a difference. you know. But hey, what do we know? We're shitlords who are racist Nazis, you know. But again, ignore Ocasio-Cortez. That saying that type of shit just feeds the train, and what you need to do is to derail the train. Remember that. But regardless, I don't think she'd win against Trump anyway, because socialism has never worked in America. Bernie wouldn't have won. I used to think that maybe Bernie would have won against Trump had he won the primaries, as he should have done. Really, come on, guys, let's be honest. Regardless of what you think, he should have won, but he didn't. But if he had won, I now realise he wouldn't have won, because of events that happened on the primary train in his election run, with him basically kowtowing and cooking himself to BLM. The comments towards white people saying that, they don't know what it's like to be poor, they don't know what it's like to be in poverty and suffer discrimination, even though he must have known full well what was going on in the Rust Belt. Like, saying that shit when he did, surely must have been the last straw for the Rust Belt voters. Like, they must have seen that and go, well, if Bernie's gonna throw us under the bus, then I guess Trump's the only guy, you know? That was a democratic heartland that they lost. That's stinging. That's like Labour losing all of the north of England, you know? Basically. That's the equivalent of it. Like, they basically lost the whole of Scotland, but somehow it didn't even affect them that much, considering that Corbyn has done well in elections against the Conservatives, you know, where to the point that they're now celebrating losses. I mean, yeah, they got a hung parliament twice, but that's not a victory, you know, that's a defeat. Fire. Well, Scottish are Celtic strike team, but they're not Picts. People like. And the Scots were all willing to go around colonising people. They literally... Why do you think Nova Scotia is called Nova Scotia? You know? The Scots were willing to do it. They just bankrupted themselves in the process because they did it wrong. And that was the final thing that created an actual union. Because we had a union of the crowns, just not a union of the two countries. I know, it's weird. But... they were colonisers, and I think they realised that, you know what, yeah, we already share the same royal family as the English anyway. Fuck it, let's seal this marriage properly. Let's put a ring on this bitch. And lo and behold, we've had this union for the last I guess it's 314 years. No, 15 years. 315 years of curb stomping the world. Well, we curb stomped the world for 100 odd years, but hey, we had a good run while it lasted. Quarter of the globe. The English and Scots ruled the quarter of the globe. Mind you, we've even had Irish prime ministers, so you can't say that the Irish did lose, because Edmund Burke was Irish. The Duke of Wellington, as much as he would like to not say he was Irish. You know, we've had Welsh prime ministers like Lloyd George. Like, the whole debate about foreign nations and shit is bullshit, because it's like England is only the biggest because there's more people, really, and it's the richest. But that was already the case anyway. But in terms of how the empire ran, it wasn't like the English going like, yeah, let's go guys, and they're following us. It was really more lockstep, you know. You can argue the Irish are the ones who were following behind, but again, when you're willingly engaging, as a lot of people did, you know, in the British Isles, in colonialism, whether it be taking other people's land or trading or whatever, I have to question some things, you know, about history, but I don't know. Anglos of the Caribbean variety. What, Jamaicans? Oh, British Virgin Islands, yeah. What about the Turks and Caicos? Nah, they're basically Yanks. I used to work with somebody from the Turks and Caicos. She basically sounded like an American. I thought she was American, but I knew something wasn't quite right in the accent. It wasn't entirely American, but she has like a British passport and everything because it's a crown dependency and everything. But apparently she had to like get American cereal imported here because we don't sell a lot of it. I mean, we have Kellogg's and I've seen Lucky Charms in my local supermarket. But yeah, I know what coons are, Dave. I know what coons are. I was being sarcastic. Very funny. Did you see how bitch? Who's he? Oh, she. Wait, who's he? Oh, Bernie. When Donald said the US will never. Yeah, I saw it. I see everything, guys. I see everything. Leeward Islands. I don't even remember. Nobody remembers the Leeward Islands here. Funnily enough, though, a lot of the Caribbean former colonies still have the Queen as their head of state. So they're basically dominions, like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, basically. Anyway, how long have I been going? I don't know how long I've been going. Oh, I've been going about 50 odd minutes. I think it's time to end. It's been a nice stream, but I've got to get ready for bed, and got to make videos tomorrow before work the next day. So it's been fun, guys. I'll stream earlier next time. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that I was alive and I'm still doing shit. So anyway, till next time, I'll see you later.